I've been doing this for around 2 years on YouTube, but I've been playing for as long as Hades didn't have a face on his face cam. So, yes,
Well,
I've
that's
been
got to
playing
be
for
3 years then, because I've been doing this
yes,
now for 3 years. Yeah.
yeah. I remember the first time you popped your face up, I was like, no way, here's how Hades. But yeah, pretty much been playing since the start and still enjoying it. Making clan boss videos, Doom Tower, PvE content mainly is my focus. And yeah, that's pretty much a roundup. And we love Genzin. Where's the mask? Where is it?
Yeah, get the mask out.
Oh, where's the mask? Oh, we'll get the mask. Oh, wait, there it is. There we go. Lord
How
Genzin.
long have you been this kind of massive Genzin fan, by the way?
Do you know what it is? Because my logo, right, is kind of like a samurai Shadowkin warrior.
Yeah.
But then the Shadow King came into the game, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is my theme right here." So I just looked at the person that had the best mask, and it was between him or Jintoro. But
Right.
Jintoro's one's like a full face, right? And then Genzin's was the half face. So I thought, yeah, that's it, Genzin.
Nice. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
actually very cool, man. Let's share some of the stuff that we're going to go through today.
Mhm.
So, YST is a massive fan of this very odd-looking champ in game, Cornelia. Yeah, and I've got to say, like when this champion first came out, I remember it so clearly going through a kit and being like, firstly, like, wow, she looks creepy as like this
Yeah.
is one scary looking dwarf. But I remember going through a kit and saying, you know what, I don't think she's that useful, but she's got enough quirky stuff about her kit that she actually might end up being good for some stuff. But I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was. Like that's like was my honest appraisal was just like right now feels like she's probably not going to be up to much, but her kit is weird enough that she might end up getting some playtime.
Yeah.
And now it feels to me like, you know, she's like 90% of your channel at the minute.
Do you know what it is? Do you know with me on my channel, I kind of like to dive into the champions that everybody says is trash. And that's kind of my kind of niche, I guess. So if everybody says that somebody's so bad, I'll make sure and go out of my way to make sure that they got a use in their game. So if this one just turned out to be the champion that has so much use in this game. And even with the implementation of the new boss, I think she's also going to excel there as well for lower accounts. So yeah, the main thing for Conellia anyway is that I managed to solo pretty much every single boss on the highest stage of the hard Doom Tower with just one champion. And that was my goal that I set myself. How far can we take this and how many bosses
Right.
can we actually take down? So we managed to
So,
make
so
it work on a good bunch, yeah.
how many are you on? How many bosses have you soloed with this champ?
I've done 5.
Wow. So should I just throw it up on screen and then we kind of
Yeah, sure,
work through?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
So basically, with Conellia Bommal 90, this is something that I had trash in my comments from haters. Everyone said, you can't make this work. And everybody was
Yeah.
hating on me because I kind of did every single boss to the top of the hard Doom Tower, apart from Bommal 90, and I just couldn't make it work, which we'll speak about later on why.
Yeah.
But basically, what it came down to beat Bommal 90 was a 1-star blessing called Carapace, which enables a 10% damage reduction for. So you see it there. Decreases damage received by 10% if they're under like sleep, fear, true fear, and all of that stuff.
Sure.
And what Conellia does is she places a sleep on herself, which allows us to take a 10% less damage mitigation from the second Dread Bomb hits.
Right.
So that was the main reason why it's now a possibility.
At what point were you like, this is where I feel like I need to go with this champ? Like,
What, in terms of the...
that's a pretty well. It's just kind of like it's a real left field discovery, you know.
So
like,
for you're talking about the original strategy?
Well, I'm just thinking this blessing. Like this blessing, probably, I don't think it would have entered my head.
It didn't enter my head either, so I'm going to give a huge shout out to Lazy Sniper, who was a member of my Discord community. And I would say he never came up with the speed tune because I've done this 8 months ago. But he messaged me recently saying, because I didn't have a blessing on Conellia and I wanted to try it out. But then the day that he messaged me, I managed to find a 1-star blessing. But he sent me a picture with a 5-star blessing saying, oh, we managed to make it work now with the Frenzy set. I was like, okay, Frenzy set is nothing new here, but to be able to survive the hits, is this how we're going to make it work? And the fact is, it was the reason. So yeah, it's crazy that...
Frenzy then. So Frenzy, is Frenzy like a set that you use regularly on champions? Is this a kind of set that you're ever using or not?
The only 2 champions that I would say has the best fit for it, obviously you could put it on every champion in the game and it's going to have a benefit. But in terms of like pure value, the only other champion I've ever used it on is Skytouch Shaman.
I remember back in the day, we're talking a long time ago, I used to use it on like mostly in Mage as like a go second arena setup. So like if you were taking debuffs, he'd cut in, cleanse your team, plus heal your team, plus give them a 10 meter boost, and then suddenly you're going. But I'm talking, that's like 2 years ago, you know, and I don't think I've used it since really. It just feels like it's never really come out.
And that's why this strategy is probably my favorite out of every single one. As everyone here in the chat or everyone that's watching this video, Hades, if I was to ask you a question of what affinity is every single solo champion in Raid as of now, apart from Conellia? They're all Spirit, right?
Maybe. I was thinking like Templars. Templars, is he Spirit as well? I thought he was Magic. Okay.
Spirit.
So,
this is actually the only champion in the entire game that we managed to work on Bommal 90.
For Bommal, right, okay.
Yeah, without Spirit affinity. So that for that sake, in that particular case there, that is so unique. And also, this is the only strategy that doesn't allow to rely on block damage or pure like damage mitigation with like a regeneration set. So this is the only strategy out there that uses a different set apart from regeneration.
Well, I 100% thought I was going to see a regen set, but I guess she heals herself, doesn't she, with her with her ability? Yeah.
Once we get into the run, we'll explain it. I'll explain the way that. So the first tuning was like 250 speed, and we was tuning between 10 meter gaps, and that was the way that I managed to make it the first time.
Yeah.
But with this one, the way that it works is, Bommal hits you, wakes you up. Bommal hits you, wakes you up. The first Dread Bomb explodes, which deals 40% of your max HP. And when you consider the 10% turn meter increase per 5% HP lost, you actually cut in and take a turn before the second Dread Bomb.
Oh, wow. That's actually very cool. Yeah.
So how that's working is you get hit, sleep goes up again because you managed to cut in. And then when the second Dread Bomb procs, you heal all the way back up again. And you're just in that speed tune cycle. So it's very, very unique. And I'm looking forward to your expression when you see it.
Yeah, cool. So this speed tune here. So you've got a 217 speed, which is incredibly slow. Honestly, I did some solo stuff for... Actually, I need to talk to you about this. I did some solo stuff for Kyuku and Helicaf. And I saw your video with Nub Braids.
That video is so
if you
funny,
guys have not seen this video, you need to go and watch it. But
I think that was the funniest video I've ever made. I loved it. When I was editing that, I was literally dying, man. It was funny.
You know what's so funny is the day before, Chosen did like a reaction video to this whole stuff going on with Stu, right? And he kept pausing it. And Lady H was there. She basically said, he's done you dirty there. Every time he's paused it, you've got a stupid face. And then I saw your video and I was like, oh my God, it's exactly the same again. Like literally every pause, I look like an absolute moron. But yeah, it's a funny video actually. You should definitely go watch that if you've not seen that, guys. It was funny. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I kind of cut in there.
Yeah, so what was he saying? I forgot where we was at.
So what I was saying was those builds generally were either much faster or tons more health than what you've got here.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like normally 90 odd K on, I think, on the Helicaf from memory.
Yeah.
And I think for like Kyuku, I'm sure it was like 250 plus speed. I can't remember exactly now, but
I think you had 294 speed and you was going at around 50k HP.
Right, there you go. Yeah, so way faster and obviously much harder to build. But damn, that's actually pretty damn slow.
Yeah.
At 217, yeah.
And that's
is there any flex here?
You can flex from around 215 to around 220 something. So there's a nice, it's not like you need to speed tune this and that's it. And the other amazing thing is, guys, this team here, this solo strategy can solo every single floor in normal and in hard for every single floor. So Bommal 10, Bommal 50, Bommal 90 using the exact same speed tune. So very, very cool.
Okay, should we jump into it?
Yeah, sure. I'm just thinking, is there anything else? Well, have you got the game?
Masteries, actually? What?
I was going to say, have you got the game open by any chance? But
I do, yeah.
Oh look, Hades doesn't have premium.
I do not. I actually like to see what ads are being played. Right.
So I was going to say, if you could just go into Conellia so we can kind of explain why this is happening, because people are probably so confused of what this champion actually does. So what it comes down to is the revitalizing rest on the A3. And what this basically does is places a sleep on herself. And you're probably thinking, why do you want to sleep on yourself? And that's because she heals the ally by 100% and completely fills the turn meter if the sleep debuff is lost due to taking damage from an enemy. And this is the reason why we can solo every single boss in the game. Because the second you take a hit on a 2-turn cooldown, by the way, you get full HP, And that's it. You're ready to rock and roll. And that's why the Carapace Rare Blessing is allowing us to take that damage mitigation.
Yeah.
And the higher star blessing you have, the less stats you need on your Conellia, because you're going to be mitigating even more damage with the higher star blessings. So it's a really cool one for her.
So you're not trying to resist anything. I guess she doesn't place debuffs, does she, on anyone? So it's not like she's going to take additional bombs from Bommal here.
No.
You're not trying to resist any of that stuff. You're literally
That's the only thing. So another thing here that's making it work is in other solo strategies like Crimson Helm, like Kyoku, they're actually placing buffs on themselves. So there's a potential to place 2 bombs. The difference here is the sleep is a debuff. So you can only ever have 1 bomb at any given time. So you don't have to ever worry about the RNG of 2 bombs proccing. So that's how we're making this work as well.
Yeah, sweet. Nice. Yeah. So do you only ever use the A3 and the A1? Do you use A2 as well?
Completely block off the A2 presets.
Yeah, speed in all battles as well. Yeah, cool.
And if we go back into the video now, if you got that already. So here with the Masteries, you can see that traditionally with solo strategies, people use Spirit Haste, people used Whirlwind of Death. You tried to make people die on the waves, tried to up the speed and stuff. Well, the cool thing is, at that 217 speed, you're sat here, and that's all the speed you need without an aura. All you need is a HP % aura, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So most of your damage then for these runs comes
Pure
from
War
War Master.
Yeah. So there is a cap on the turn limit, so you need to get it done in 1500 turns. But the average is that I've seen anyway is a 1100 turn limit, and that's kind of the place that you sit at. So it's easy, comfortably done like this.
Yeah. Just to say, thank you, Damaris, for the sub. It's just said here, is YST going to talk about just Doom Tower, or have you been using her in the new boss as well? I
have been using it. We're trying it, but I haven't really come up with a team that's super utilized yet. So I guess when I actually just to clarify, you can't solo with her because the boss heals, so you're not being able to deal as much damage in the time that the Necropolis is healing. So
yeah, interestingly, I've not high levels. I've seen people soloing with like Wither, who predominantly is a healer. But Wither is taking him down up to like stage 13 or so?
I guess potentially for lower floors, but I think once you're starting to get to that 15, 16 to 25 range, there's no chance. Yeah.
It's not a chance, yeah. Okay, cool. And Cruz, thank you for the sub as well, mate. So, yeah, all right. Okay, what should we do? Should we jump?
Yeah, so if you just forward a little bit, we can kind of explain what's happening. Sorry, guys, that my face is on the screen. There is a part at the end of the video where I'm not on the screen, but I think it's important that we showcase... that as well.
So should I just let it start going?
So if you just leave it for when I go into the run. So how this works is you need to have a HP % aura, preferably a Delion is a really strong one at 33%. And there's many champions in the game with this kind of aura. I can't think of, maybe Versof the Grim has one at 33%.
Yeah, do you need 33? Is that like a...
For the stats that I'm using today, we need 33%. That's the safe zone, because when you're dealing both of the 40% max HP hits from the Dread Bombs, you need to be able to survive those hits. So I guess if you got higher stats on your Conellia, you can drop down from that.
Sure.
Because it is only, well, on my account, I don't have a lot of Frenzy set that I kind of noticed. So I was actually using like speed boots. So if I put like HP % boots, it's a lot easier.
Massively grow, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty much that. And then with the presets, it's full auto as long as on wave 3 that you block off the A2 because you want to prioritize the revitalizing rest.
Yeah, and these other characters you got here, so you got
anybody,
and you got
anybody.
They're just wave clearers, are they?
Yeah. So the main thing that we want is we want everybody to die, preferably on wave 2. And it's not, the issue isn't making them get up to the boss. The issue is if they survive too long at the boss, there's that, I think it's a 20% chance to proc a stun on your allies.
The stuns, yeah.
So you want to mitigate that stun as much as possible. So you want to bring in nukers that you know that will die against Coroner on wave 2.
Yeah.
So pretty much here, we'll take full control in a second. So here, everybody's going to start dying. And I actually did this.
Is this full auto from the start? None of this is
so
controlling it, or you are controlling
we take control just to make sure that Conellia's got full HP before she gets into the boss fight.
Right.
So we'll see here. So boom. Then everybody's going to start dying now. I made sure I took some chest plates off. Nobody's fully stacked for HP.
Yeah.
The Coroners like to proc their passive a lot on stage 90 for some reason. But
yeah. I did the same thing actually when I was working through like my Kyoku ones and stuff. It was like that balance between cleaning down the waves like quickly enough, but making sure they also die.
Yeah, so here we're basically just A1ing, we're just saving our cooldowns. And then the second we come up against the boss, because of the presets that we've got, you just click auto and then you let it enjoy. Now, if you just want to skim through to the actual run, I put a timeline on the video where it's just the run by itself. So if you just go way more forward, yeah, just there.
Right
If you go to the start of that timeline, yeah.
Sure.
So that is the presets there. And then once the presets come to the screen, I can kind of explain what's happening. I don't know. I kind of just left it on the screen for like 15 hours. So basically what's going to happen here is the hits go up. So there we go. And because of the carapace that you see proccing when she's under a sleep, you actually take a 10% damage mitigation with the 1-star blessing. So the sleep goes up in between and kaboom. The second one explodes and you go straight back up to full health. So that's why Frenzy set was the kind of key alongside carapace to make this work. But you don't need Frenzy or carapace for the lower stages with different gear sets. I kind of want to express that. But for anybody thinking, is this possible without carapace? I don't think it is, honestly, because I've tried this so many times.
You're only mitigating 10% of his hits, right? You're not...
Nope. So if you look there, 32,000 from the first red bomb. Now we got the sleep. It's a 26,000 hit.
Ah, okay.
So it's actually mitigating the second bomb's hit, which is allowing us to survive. And also the strong hits from Bommal being the Force Affinity, there is going to be smacks where you want to mitigate as much damage as possible. But I am happy to say that this is a 100% run. I've had about 100 DMs since I've released the video, and nobody's had a problem so far.
It's actually pretty, like you say, it's pretty insane, because I know even when, I think, was it What affinity is Kyoku?
Spirit.
She Force? She's Spirit as well. I felt like I tried one which was the same affinity as this dude. I can't remember who it was now, but I tried. I think
you tried a Rush Guard the tower. You were saying with magic affinity.
Yes, I did. Yes, and he got absolutely wrecked. Like that's right. I was trying to mimic what I was doing with Helicaf with Rush Guard, and because of the affinity change, I just couldn't do it. He got absolutely wrecked. So I'm surprised actually that this is as effective as it is on 90. It's actually mad.
It's insane, man, and it's so cool because you literally build her this one time. And that is every single rotation. So if you want to do normal Dude Tower, no problems, throw in there.
Yeah.
Because we've actually speed tuned this according to the Dread Bombs. So, and the Dread Bomb speed doesn't change, no matter the floor or anything. They remain at, I believe, a 75 speed. And pretty much with the stats that we showcased in the video, around 73,000 plus is kind of the sweet spot, alongside 3.8k plus defense at those slow speeds of 217.
Yeah.
You're going to have no issue. As long as you can kind of make sure you've got no Eagle Eye Masteries, you're not proccing any extra bombs, and you don't bring too many allies with you against the boss yourself. Click auto, go get yourself a coffee, and you sit here for 20 minutes, come back, and bomb was finished. Get your Sacred Shard.
And is this what you actually use on your account now?
Well, I will be now, now that we finished it, yeah.
Yeah. I just wondered, like, I
used
obviously built like the Kyoto stuff, and Kyoto one was pretty damn solid actually, but I've also got a faster team just because my account's able to do it. You know, I've got like a speed team, speedish team.
I guess because of the implementation of Iron Twins Fortress, the Sand Devils Necropolis, and there's so many places in this game where we need to use our endgame champions, such as like a Geomancer. I've got that one tuned for Iron Twins, and my other Geomancer is tuned for Hydra Boss. I don't have a fair Geomancer to tune just for Bommal, so yeah,
that's very cool.
Downside,
I know that. When I was working through the Helicaf one first, I did Helicaf before Kyoto, and people don't appreciate the work that goes into understanding the speed tune requirement. And like even what you've done here to get the kind of heal to proc in between the bombs.
Yeah,
I was going through the same type of thing to make sure that Helicaf always blocked the double bomb and all that type of stuff. Honestly, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of play testing and all that type of stuff. So that's what
I was saying before. Like in my comment section, people were so angry that I couldn't get to 90. And I was like, guys, these things, they take so much more time than you think. Like you see the 10-minute video, you probably watch like 2 minutes of it, but
you look at the build, you look at the masteries, you skip to the end, you're like, and actually don't even listen to the part about carapace probably, and that's probably where it's went wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's insane, man. But yeah, if anybody does want to do floor 50, you don't need a frenzy set, which we will speak about in a second as well. But in terms of 90, no problems. Build it in this way. Look at in your Ultra Souls. All you need is a 1-star blessing. I'm not sure if you have some crazy account, right, and you can get like 100,000 HP on your Conellia, it might be possible, like maybe. But I don't want to throw
Yeah.
that out there because I have tried everything in the past. I think Carapace is 100% the best, safest way to go on Conellia. So,
And have you got close without using frenzy gear, or
yes,
have you had it work but not
well,
100%?
I guess I can explain that in the other one that I did with the other speed tune of what was
Okay.
happening. Yeah. So yeah, so that was pretty much the run. If you want to go through to the end, we can see the turn count that we got to.
So what, basically coming up towards 1,200 turns, 20
Yes,
odd, like you say,
and
20 minutes.
it kind of depends on the War Master procs. Like sometimes you get it,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't. You see somewhere between 1,100 and 1,250 as the threshold. But full auto, not too bad, and the only champion in the game, guys, that can do it as the magic affinity as of now. So
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's
really
really
cool.
cool. Good effort. Good effort. Okay, where should we go next?
I guess we should go. We'll kind of switch it up. We'll come back to Bommal 50 later. We don't want to speak too much Bommal straight away. We're going to Scarab King.
And again, are we looking at the highest level of Scarab
This
King
is
here?
the highest floor. Every single one that we showcase today will be the highest floor of the Hard Dunes Tower.
Okay, do you want to go on to build first?
Build first, because the way that you build these champions is very, very different, guys. So this one is going to be of a toxic set, and the theory behind this one came around with Uros, because the way that Uros passive works and stuff is you place the poison debuffs, and that's the way that we kill the boss. So I thought, why can't Conellia do it in a toxic set? Because once again, 2-turn cooldown, replacing those sleeps and stuff, we'll be able to get it done. Now, the issue with this one is the Scarab King has some crazy accuracy, so you need close to 400 resistance in order to survive this. And that's kind of the tedious thing. So I'm not sure if I got the stats there in full on the video. I should do. Yeah, there we go. So I had a 415 resistance. I think you can get around 400 is fine. And the best way to make it work is, I believe you get magic affinity and spirit affinity for Scarab King, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so Spirit is probably the best one because you do get the weak hits occasionally, and it's like, yo, happy days. With the magic affinity, you do have those positive affinity kind of issues sometimes, so you'd want to up your HP stats when you're facing the positive affinity. But if you want to focus on just magic, under 3k defense, under 60k HP, is actually not too bad, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toxic set just to speed it up, or it's a requirement?
It's just to speed it up. It's not a requirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll be there for hours otherwise, sitting there trying to. And I'm not sure if you'll reach the turn limit without a toxic set.
Yeah.
It's got some really high max HP.
With all this stuff, I admire your dedication, honestly, because there really isn't a way that she does things fast, is there? Like she's got a crazy kit, but there's not a speed element to her kit.
No,
with like some champions, it's like I can either build them to be slow, resilient, and do damage in one way, or I can build them to hit. Conellia doesn't really have that kind of second option, does she?
Yeah, it's a pain, and that's the thing. Do you know when you're playtesting this stuff? Like when I'm playtesting a run, I could be sat there for 15 minutes, and then a run will fail, and then I have to do it again and again. And if you consider the amount of hours, I'm not even joking. I think I put like 500 hours into Conellia. Like no joke, serious. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
But
okay,
that's basically this one's going to be facing the Spirit Affinity. We can go into the run.
Do you want to go through the wave stuff first? Is it?
Well, this one is actually based with the. So if we go into the Masteries quickly, actually before the run, I think I showed the Masteries somewhere. Because that should be very... Yeah, so this one is going to be working off the Spirit Haste Mastery, trying to manipulate the speed. Let me just see here. So 250 speed plus Spirit Haste, and you need to rely on 2 allies dying. That's how I speed tuned it. So that allows you to actually come through against the boss, let the rest of them die, it's fine. You just need to make sure you bring in 2 food champions to make this work at these speeds. Because it is a very fast boss, around 250 speed, so...
Yeah.
We want to manipulate that as much as possible. In terms of here, we do have a HP aura with Verse of the Grim. This was way before Deliana came out when I made this team. And once again, 33%. Against it in there, of course. Let's go. Let's get the mask on.
Yeah. And so here you've got Versolf as food, Fellhound as food.
Everyone's food, pretty much, yeah.
Genzin and Rotus to clear waves, or?
Yeah, Rotos and Genzin to clear waves, and Versolf and Rare Champion are just as the champions to die for the Spirit Haste.
Yeah, cool.
Like 100%, I know they're going to die, and the rest of the champions, they'll die at the boss anyway.
Yeah, I think in particular, these waves are not as bad as like the Bommal waves, are they? In terms of clearing them out.
Oh no, this one's I think this is probably the easiest one, but to be honest, now that I think of it, in hindsight, this is actually one of the harder solo strategies, because trying to get 250 speed, 400 resistance on
Yeah,
one
it's quite a
champion
lot. In toxic gear.
in toxic gear is a very big task, I think. So
Yeah.
obviously
Actually,
with me,
I was saying about these easy ways, but you have got 3 duchesses to get through there.
Yep, it's pretty tedious. But pretty much here, letting them die with our first priority, very similar thing. And the one, I'll tell you what, the only way that this can fail, and that is if you get True Fear. Is it True Fear? I think it's the boss places. I think, no,
is it
yeah,
True
he
Fear or
places
just
True
Fear?
Fear and Decreased Speed, I believe.
It's True Fear, right? Yeah.
But anyway, the only way that you can lose to this is if you actually get the 2 debuff. No, it's the provoke. There we go. I got it. So if you get provoked back to back 3 times in a row, then you can die, right? But
you resist the provokes, don't you? That's why you bring resistance in, yeah?
Yeah, but there is that 3% chance.
Yeah. Okay.
And because of the amount of turns that you're taking against Scarab King, there is some times where you might get provoked once or decrease speed once and stuff like that. But if you get that crazy bad, like 2%, 3% chance to get it back to back to back, 3%, then there's that potential maybe you could die at these stats. Right. But I put that it's a very rare occasion. I've done this run maybe 30 times, 40 times, and I've only ever seen it once. And that was on the other affinity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty consistent. I really like it. And you can actually afford to get provoked twice. So that's kind of, these stats allows you to have the worst case scenario and still be able to claw back. So if we just forward a bit, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, if someone's watching this and they're a bit lower down, like, let's say they're trying to beat normal, and I don't know where he sits, but let's say he sits at like 70.
Yeah.
Do you know kind of how far down you can come with stats for that sort of thing?
A lot. Well, guys, there's a great website out there called hellhades.com, and basically on there, it actually has all of the stats and everything you need to know for every single floor on these stages. And that's kind of the tools that I refer to as well. I need to know how much speed do we need, how much resistance do we need, how much accuracy do we need, right? So I'd say go to Hell Hades, go to a Yumi Love and all of these sources, and they actually have all of the stats for you on a screen in one format, and you just kind of lower the stats of those stages.
I wasn't after that plug, but it's actually a cool one to do.
It's true though, because that's what I relate to over these things.
But I'm just interested then. So when you're you find this. Let's say here, I'm on normal 50. So are you looking at saying, I want to match the boss's speed? Is that where your speed's coming from?
You want to outspeed. Basically, what I found with Scarab King is he kind of starts with a turn meter, in my opinion anyway. You go into the fight and he's already got turn meter there. I feel like you need to be 25 speed above the boss. In my opinion. So if he's going at 250 speed, you speed tune your Conellia to that stage and just add another 25 speed on top.
And then obviously the resistance, you're just making sure you hit the resistance to outdo his accuracy. If people get this the right way around, we need the 200 odd.
That's pretty much all you need to do, and that's the main source for this. Now
I'm just pushing health after that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do. That's the main thing with Scarab King. Is probably the most self-explanatory speed tune for Conellia. You match it, you up the speed, you get Spirit Haste on, let some people die in the waves, have a toxic set, and you'll be able to do Scarab King, no problem.
So this one's a 27-minute run on the
very
hardest.
Very long.
Yeah, on the hardest one.
But it drops down significantly though, because when I did the lower stages, right, it was something like 15 minutes, and then I think the lower stage was like 11 minutes. So
sure.
Obviously on the highest stage, this is actually the same time as a Vergis, so I don't think it's that bad. I've seen Vergis strategies go up to 35 minutes.
Really?
So yeah. So obviously you can get.
I've never used him. I honestly, I've done Euros. I use Euros for my main account.
Yeah.
I've never done any of these kind of like real long strategies, because personally I'd be like, oh my god, this is really like grim. But then thinking back to like my free to play accounts, if I get to a point where I cannot beat something, that's where I feel like these strats just come out so golden. It's like, you know what? I know I've got this champion. I can build him out, and at least I can beat it, even if it's once a month or whenever you need to do it once and you move on. Cool. Where should we go next?
Where do you want to go next? Griffin or Nether Spider?
I want to see some Griffin.
You can see some Griffin.
Yeah.
All right. Griffin was actually one of the hardest ones for me to tune. I found it pretty hard.
Griffin's a hard boss, right?
It's a really hard boss, and I explained why it was so hard. Pretty much with this build is a very different one. Once again, that is the theme of Conellia, and the good thing about this one is, if you notice, no regeneration, no toxic, no frenzy, just whatever gear sets you guys like. All you need is the stats, all you need is the speed, you're good to go. So if we just go into the actual speed of Conellia, so basically the Griffin, I believe, is at I believe it's 250.
250 speed, yeah.
Yeah, so 250, but there's a big but there, guys. If you think about the Sky Bond, which is the little turn counter on the boss, he actually increases his speed by 2.5 for every Sky Bond on him.
Yeah.
So if he gets 20 Sky Bonds, that's another 50 speed, which actually makes this boss 300 speed once he's fully like empowered in a sense. So you need to make sure that you factor in you're going faster than the Griffin at those speed thresholds. Now, the counter to this will actually be Frenzy Gear, which is something I haven't tried yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing people try that. Because if you could, that allows you to lower the stats significantly. And if you start dropping down and increasing your turn meter, I think you can get way lower than this. Maybe in like 230, 240 speed in a Frenzy set will be pretty fine.
I've got to say, though, like, I know it feels extreme to anyone who's a new player.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been playing the game for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, I think you hit that speed and I think you probably get those stats. I think it's a pretty doable build.
Yeah, the main thing is as well, we've actually got a resistance chest plate, resistance, a banner to allow us to get to 378. I think you need around 350 resistance. Do you have that thing there again? Sorry, Hades.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can't recall every stat top of my head, unfortunately.
Yeah, 355.
Yeah.
This is the raid stages 2 on hellhades.com.
Yeah. yeah. So basically, we just want to make sure that we're a bit overkill. Make sure that the main thing to resist here is the heal reduction. Because if you get heal reduction on Conellia, you're going to get wiped because her main source is that heal stuff. So the masteries for this one, I think I went Spirit Haste, potentially. Yeah, I went Spirit Haste again. So we're just trying to manipulate the speed and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it with the War Master. So we just go to the run. Oh my god, we're just going to see 2 YSTs for the whole of this video.
Yeah. Did you have any...
Go on.
Did you have champs in clearing out the waves? What's it done?
No, I just had some for food. Just let them die. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make full use of Spirit Haste because that 300 speed is excessive.
Sure.
But we did have, I believe, a speed aura of... What's her name? That Void Epic. What her name? Ursula Mourner? Ursula the Mourner?
Yeah.
I think she got 24% or something. So pretty much here, we're just going to be resisting everything. She's going to place the sleep on herself, and it's not going to be any issue. And I forgot how long this is. So if you just want to go for a halfway line, see how well.
Well, yeah, I just want to see like the damage ramp up just a little bit because
like
I find at this stage, and people probably find this, like when you're on low level stacks on the Griffin, everything feels kind of rosy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to, I reckon 15, then this fight becomes a different fight. It's actually really difficult to maintain the damage. But interestingly, it doesn't really feel like you're taking hits.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that at all, to be honest. Against Spirit Affinity in particular, in Magic, it does get sometimes like, ooh, we took a bit of a smack there. But in this one, because we're not placing debuffs, that means that we're not getting any debuffs transferred.
Yeah.
So it's just raw damage, pretty much. So he's doing raw damage, you're doing raw damage. And if you can't go below, like you see there, boom, straight back up.
As long as he's not half health in you, then you're not getting any additional damage to it.
It doesn't really matter, though, because we're placing the sleep all of the time. Like, there's not going to be an issue here.
Yeah.
So,
it's such a funky champion design, isn't it?
Yeah. Like... I don't know. I was saying this story to Ash. He was like, why? How on earth did you even come up with this? I was just on my phone watching Hawkeye, which was like a Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
And I was just on my phone randomly, which you shouldn't be on your phone when you're watching something like Hawkeye anyway, because I really like that show. But I just read a key and I was like, 2-turn cooldown. I was like, who in the game has a 2-turn cooldown to potentially enable a full heal? So I kind of just did it on my phone, like willy-nilly, and boom, managed to solo Bommal. So, and then from there, I just took it upon me on like a mission. Like I'm gonna solo everything. I'm not gonna stop until I do it.
Yeah, it's actually madness. Like, because these builds are not that crazy.
Yeah.
It's a shame that I guess they're different builds for each boss because that would be the ultimate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was doing a collab with Scratch, right? And I put on my video that it was like a dupe video of which champions would you build dupes of. I actually built one Conellia for that, and then I got one for Arena. So I got one just to like mess around and build stuff with, and then another one for... But once again, guys, if you got Carapace on Conellia, you can actually mitigate so much of these stats because you start reducing so much damage. But once again, 20 minutes, 400 turns, full solo strategy. And if you actually go into the second part of this video, we'd have to watch the whole thing, but this is important as well. So this is like the best case scenario. If you want to do Griffin and you're really, really struggling, Bring in 4 nukers, guys. Raw damage your way through. If we go to the run now. So
Onto the boss part?
Yeah, just straight to the boss, yeah. So from here, just let them nuke them down. Like, boom, boom, boom. They're all gonna die anyway. But what this does is, it allows you to cut down the boss's HP by like 50%, and then Conellia is just doing the rest. So if you find yourself in a rhythm of, oh damn, I'm getting to 50% HP and I can't do it anymore, she could just be the champion to actually help you speedrun this, because this actually turns into a speedrun once you start bringing in nukers, like a ninja.
Yeah, this is actually the interesting part of theory crafting, right? So sometimes it's like, we did the same with Bad L on something like Ice Golem, or I do anyway. It's like, I can get to the boss quick, but I can't beat the boss. It's like, well, who can beat the boss by himself? You still want to get there quick. You still want to get as much damage out as you can, but then let them solo it after.
Yeah, so this is the thing, guys. So now look, 1 minute and we're halfway. So now Conellia is just going to sit. So this is going to take half the time of that 20 minutes that you see in that other one. There you go, 10 minutes. So
yeah, someone's saying here about, doesn't Apothecary have a massive heal on a 2-turn as well? I guess the thing is, she's being healed by taking damage.
Yeah, that's what makes her unique.
That's the difference.
Yeah, and it's on a 2-turn cooldown, so she's putting the sleep up, and because she's getting woken up, she's immediately taking a turn, effectively making that A3 a 1-turn cooldown, because she's immediately taking a turn, right? So she takes that turn, she's enough speed to outspeed the boss again, puts the sleep back up, so for every turn that the boss takes, you're actually fully healing.
So should we jump onto total stats here? So we've got
so
222 speed.
Yeah. So I think Nether Spider, what's the highest floor speed? I can't recall it. But basically, you just have to match the floor once again of the speed that you need.
Yeah.
Factoring in all the stats. So that's kind of flexible. Whatever stage you're hitting up that, you want to get around 70,000 HP, aim for 3.5k defense for the highest stages, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've tried this, so you don't have to worry about that.
And then Mastery setup is similar to what we've seen.
Yeah, so this one is the Spirit Haste, allowing people to die and solo in. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But Whirlwind of Death is cool. I just wanted to make sure that I did it without Whirlwind of Death, because it's so tedious making everybody down the waves and stuff like that. I just wanted to make it as simple as possible for people. But if you do want to up your speed by an extra 18 or something, then you can use that offense tree.
Yeah, you know what? When I was building out Helicaf,
yeah,
I think it was Helicaf rather than Koku. Basically, I was trying to make it a speed run to get to the boss, and then for Bommal this was, and then for the solo to kick in, a bit like we just seen with your video there. But I needed to make sure that Helicaf at least killed a couple to get that, or at least killed 3 to get the kind of speed going.
Yeah.
And that balance is really difficult.
Especially with somebody like Conellia, because she doesn't smack hard. So.
Yeah, even worse, because actually, well, we've seen the damage she does. She does no damage. So yeah, it must be quite a difficult kind of balance.
So yeah, pretty much same sort of thing. Locking them up with presets. Coming up against the boss with the Ursula Demona, 24% speed aura.
She's got a speed aura herself, though, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's got 18%. So I just wanted to optimize as much as possible.
Yeah, but you could literally just add like
a few extra speed, and yeah, pretty much.
Then just use her if you don't have the speed champions yourself, like others.
I think, it was just if you guys do have it and you want somebody to down the waves, I thought she was just a good option because I didn't max her up. So optimize Spirit Haste a little bit, right?
Boom. Onto the boss.
So just somebody to kill the boss. And now this one's pretty tedious because boom, 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 boom. Getting poisons everywhere. And this is where I thought deflection set would be really, really cool, because you have the chance to like reflect so many poisons, and it might actually become like a speed farm with the amount of poisons that pop out. But, in terms of this toxic set, we just didn't do raw damage. We don't have to worry about the hits or the poisons. Throughout the entirety of this run, I don't even think we dropped below 50% HP at all.
I don't know why. I had it in my head that this boss wasn't susceptible to poison, but obviously it is. Well, I had it in my head, but
yeah, no, poison's completely fine on this boss. Yeah, boom, pretty much going
through. That's actually doing it's like 21k damage. So yeah, you're right. Deflection would be
huge. Yeah,
massive, wouldn't it?
And plus, the boss actually does sensitivity. So if you can reflect sensitivity back, that'll be huge, because you start to get more damage out of the poisons. So yeah, as you see there, guys, hardly taking a smack at all. If we just go through to the end, if we see where we get to. So this one, 20 minutes again, pretty self-explanatory, very similar to the other ones. But once again, guys, up your speeds in order to reach the higher stages. But if in comparison to the other video that I showed with Griffin, if you forward a little bit, she actually has an amazing kit for Nether Spider if you guys have just full out teams. I think she's one of the best champions for this. So
To like speed run it, you mean?
yeah, so this is why we got accuracy. So basically with an A2, we're not going to block it off this time. She actually does an AoE sleep by just placing, which won't proc the counterattacks because she's just placing it, right? When
She
they
does
wake
this
up,
on auto, or you have to manual that.
no, you just do it with the presets. Sure.
So she'll do that as a
Yeah.
as kind of standard, yeah.
Yeah, so you put the sleeps up, and then once the actual side minions wake up, or the side spiders, there's that 50-50 shot to proc them with a fear. So you have a potential to lock them out 24/7 at the right speeds, meaning that the Nether Spiders hardly ever take a turn, to be honest. And if you're struggling with the amount of poisons coming your way, as you see there, every single spider took a fear debuff. So now there's a 50-50 shot. Look at that. No poison. So I think...
Okay, that's actually really cool, yeah. Because
Yes.
that's generally, like, even if you don't want to do a slower solo strat,
Yeah.
that's actually
It's
awesome.
huge. It's actually
awesome.
huge. Yeah. So I think she was a pretty unique one for that one. Having a chance to pretty much 100% lock out the spiderlings to allow your other allies to come through. As you see here, I didn't bring in like crazy endgame champions. I brought in a Sepulchre Sentinel, a Reliquary Tender, and a, who's that? A Rector Draft.
Rector, yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to prove the point.
Like a squad of healers, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. So
that's actually very cool, yeah. Nice man. I want to say, absolutely insane work with this dwarf.
guys,
Like,
this will actually be, I think this will be my, unless they release like a new dungeon that requires and she can solo it, I think this, I wanted to leave it here on Hell Hades channel. This is my last ever Conellia video that I'm gonna make. I've covered
that's
arena.
an RIP, is it? Is this an RIP event?
Obviously, I'm still gonna use it, but in terms of videos, I've made too many. I've done arena, I've done faction wars, I've done every Doom Tower boss I can think of.
Yeah.
And I just think it's time to let my mind breathe for a minute. And Conellia, it's been a blast. It's been like a year in the making, but I'm gonna leave you here with Hell Hades.
I mean, she's creepy. To look at this champion for a year straight, that's creepy to me.
Do you know what? I want Polarium, if you're listening, please. I know you got a spare Conellia model in your office somewhere. Like, tell the guy who's sitting next to it in his office to send it to my house. You got my address. I'll keep it with me on stream. Like, even if it's a little one, just hold it up like this, like a voodoo doll.
Well, the thing is, she would come as a porcelain doll, probably life size, I reckon. Well, look, obviously, you being full time now, I'm sure we'll see more and more content from you. Not that you weren't doing a lot before, to be honest. You've already done tons anyway. So, and are you kind of pushing streaming as well, or pretty much sticking with YouTube mainly?
YouTube is my main. It'll always be my main, I think. I do like to stream on YouTube as well, but I try to do Twitch at least 1 to 2 times a week as like just to like see everybody on this side because it's a different audience, right? But
Yeah, for sure.
my main thing is on YouTube, doing CVC streams and popping out videos. Is the he's popping the sacred.
Well, someone just said in stream it's going to be Harima. What's that?
Stagnan.
Soul Assassin. Liar. No, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Thank you so much for coming on and showing us all things Conellia. And yeah, no doubt. Well, actually, it'd be good to do a collab on your channel as well and kind of come and see your audience as well. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
Awesome.
Appreciate you
Right,
having me,
if we can do another shout out for YST, get his YouTube channel out there. Go and sub to this guy. He puts out awesome content. As you've seen today in this kind of like snippet, he really thinks outside the box to get his stuff out there. You know, it's not just like run of the mill. It is detailed. Very good stuff. There's the mask. Cheers, dude. Thanks very much.